Or no, it was a trading post. That was the shtick I was going with here. I don't know. I'm Marty. Welcome back. We all got to see what's happening this week down in paradise. For all you that's joining us new, want to give you a big thank you. I'm gonna pass things off to Jonathan because I forget the details sometimes. Okay, thanks, Marty. So for those of you who are just kind of joining us within the last 24 hours, which is about half of our followers at this point, thank you for coming in and checking out this other show here. A lovely thing we got going, a little Deadlands game. And for those of you who have been here for a while, if you didn't notice, what happened is yesterday we had Joe Cat on the stream as a special guest star, and the Wiggler Army came out in force and showed us so much love. So if you see any of these new people in the chat, say hello and make friends. Also, because we do a giveaway every 100 followers, we ended up being obligated to give one away at halftime yesterday because we had almost 150 almost 200 followers before like the halftime. I think we had like 150 new followers, so we gave one away at the half. We have to give one away tonight too, so it's going to be a lovely I'll make sure that I can get it in front of a camera when we go to the break, when we do the giveaway. It's a lovely dice chest from Elderwood Academy, one of the full-size ones, and then we're gonna have to give away another thing on Thursday for our Clockwork game. And if we get 11 more followers, we're gonna have to do another one on Sunday because you guys have just been showing us so much love. So definitely thank you all for joining us, and take a look down in our panels because we do have a Patreon page. There is a tier on Patreon where you can actually play with Puck as your DM. There's only so many of those spots open though, so if that's something that interests you, check that out. And yeah, we got merch too, so check all that stuff out. But I'm gonna hand it off to the storytellers here. Thanks for joining us. Let's see what's going on in paradise.
Hello, and thank you again, all of you, for coming to watch us play games. This is absolutely marvelous. First thing we're probably going to notice tonight, I'd like to introduce everybody first. There's two less to introduce this week, so this is going to go a little more quickly. But yes, always my fellow storytellers, the people that make this possible. Otherwise, it's just me in a room talking to myself, which is just like every other day. Let's start on the top row here with Hannah playing Miss Ellie. At the far end down there, we have Lesimax playing Lucius, our Undertaker with a Tude. And perhaps, I never thought of this, but maybe she just killed them both to get more screen time. Miss Alice, played by Sarah.
Reveal my plot things. Thank you.
Gave it away, and we haven't even started yet. Our other two will be back with us, one next week, one the week after that. But we have a plan, so fear not. I'm going to have the three of you that are here draw your 3 cards or your 3 chips from the deck. Do with those what you will, while I get everybody caught up and back up to speed. Last week started with what should have been a really difficult gunfight with some undead Confederate soldiers. But they couldn't roll anything above a 3, so you guys mopped the floor with them. So shortly after that, though, Miss Ellie went on a bit of a psychic journey with Jett, and she got to meet Jett's. We don't really know what the right word for Raven is yet, but you got to meet her. She's real. This is the person that you discovered gives him the ability to heal people as long as he hurts himself in the process. Baptiste and Miss Alice, you guys had a word with the sheriff about these
mostly Baptiste
desecrated bodies, yes, and the sheriff was rather forthcoming. He dropped a lot of hints that Baptiste got all of, and I believe Miss Alice got most of, and was quite clear in what his thoughts were about the doctor, her possible issues, and her utility, what she brings to this town and what he's willing to put up with because of that. At around the same time, Jett and Miss Ellie went to see said doctor under the instructions of Raven, and she kind of bombshelled you guys. She's harrowed. She's been dead for almost 30 years, but she walks and talks among us. The thing with harrowed in this world is you're not just undead. The only way this works is if one of these spirits, one of these Manitou, possesses you, and you spend all day, every day for the rest of your unnaturally long life fighting to maintain control of your body, your mind, and your soul. She knows how to stop that. She can get the Manitou out of her body, but it will kill her. And she doesn't want to die. So she's been trying over the course of many, many years and through the who knows what to many, many bodies. She's been trying to figure out a way to drive the Manitou out without killing the body that's left behind. And she has admitted to you that she has not succeeded. She talked Jett into escorting her out of town. She said she'd leave, go and practice her ways somewhere else because she's not going to stop. She's going to be honest enough to tell you that she's not going to stop doing what she's doing. But she's at least promised to stop doing it here. Jett left with her and rode out of town, leaving Ellie sitting outside the doctor's office contemplating what the hell just happened today on a whole bunch of different levels. Speaking of what the hell happened today, Lucius, you have had an interesting first day on the job as Undertaker in this town. It started with 3 missing bodies, rapidly progressed to a gunfight with the undead. Then you had to remove the grave digger's corpse from a 12-foot high spiky fence. And there's still 24 bodies waiting to be prepared to be properly buried. So you've had quite a day too. So with that, just quickly locate everybody here. Miss Alice and Baptiste, you are just stepping out of the sheriff's office onto the main street of Paradise Township. Lucius, you are headed towards the graveyard, as I remember it.
I remained in the graveyard to see if
You
I could
stayed
find
in the
more
graveyard. Perfect. Okay, excellent. And Miss Ellie, as we just explained, you were sitting in front of the doctor's office watching Jett and the undead doctor on horseback heading south out of town. Out of the corner of your ear, if that's a sentence, you can hear the bar being put back together. It's weird, though. It's not hammering and sawing like a construction site. It's the unbreaking of wood, whatever that means. Whatever the sound of a 6x6 timber coming back together and reconstituting itself where it was, that's the sounds you're hearing. So with that, let's go back down the rabbit hole to our very own poisoned paradise. And let's start with Miss Alice and Baptiste.
Oh, good.
Ryan, I know you're not here. I apologize for what I am about to do to your accent. Miss Alice, the two of you step out and he closes the door behind you. You got that, right? You got what he meant?
I imagine we are going to see the doctor.
We are. And he starts adjusting the gun belt. And you guys make your way down the street. I wish he was here because I would really like to hear the conversation the two of you have at this point, but we're going to have to.
So many things.
That's going to have to wait.
It's okay.
Because you guys get to the doctor's office, and there is Miss Ellie by herself sitting outside.
Is she sit? Are you sitting like on the stoop? Like.
Yeah.
What happened? Is Jett inside?
No, And neither's the doctor. They left together.
What?
I guess the doctor has been dead for years. She's been experimenting on these bodies, trying to figure out how to get rid of whatever is possessing her now. And I guess she thinks that whatever she's looking for is in another town. Jett's escorting her.
I swear this town is going to be the death of me.
It's called Harrowed, miss. And I need to follow them because I do not trust her.
Do you trust anyone? Did that?
You see him fiddle with his stole a little bit, and the depth of his answer shakes you to the roots of your being. No, ma'am. No one.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that.
May I have a word with you before I go, Miss Alice? No offense, Miss Ellie, but in private, if I may.
I don't even meet his eye, and I just go and then just walk away. I'm still not looking at Baptiste.
Alice is probably visibly flustered.
And he looks you, he gives you the stare. You know the stare. You own the stare. He hits you with the stare. And at the same time, his hand goes underneath that big duster that he wears to where that badge is. And his hand is covering it up under there. And he looks at you. He goes, Miss Alice, it would not be right to tell you this because I would not be right to ask you to not investigate because that, Miss Alice, is the very nature of your being. But I would ask, and he pulls it out, but it's still cupped in the palm of his hand.
Trying so hard to see what it says.
He's holding it up against his chest. He is playing you. He says, I would ask something almost as difficult. I would ask that you keep that information to yourself for now. And he starts to put the badge on the outside of his duster, but he's still got his hand covering it. And he's looking at you, waiting for a reaction.
Oh my God.
Unless you can see through his bony hand, you are not going to see this.
I want to know.
Thank you.
Um,
He moves his thumb and you see WY.
That's all I know. I know that already.
And he's just, that cadaverous old face is just grinning at you. As a gentleman asks a lady for a favor.
Alice I'm literally biting my tongue. Like, I'm like.
Just for now, Miss Alice.
And she says, you're damn right about one thing. I am not going to stop investigating.
Oh.
But for now, if I do uncover anything, I've been very unsuccessful so far. I'll keep it under my hat. Not that I wear a hat, of course. It would mess up my hair, you know.
He's speaking of your hair, miss. It was very fetching on that evening. And he drops his hand, and you see the rest of the rest of it. It's WY, and his hand drops away.
Oh, I need my pen.
OMING.
Wyoming.
It says Wyoming.
Wyoming.
I'm not an officer of the law in this state, but I find that having this on does tend to let people know whose side I'm on.
Well, what good does that do you if nobody can see it?
And he taps it. They can see it now. If you'll excuse me, I've got some catching up to do.
So is that where Jett went? Was Wyoming?
No, you don't know. Did he tell you, Ellie? I don't think he did. I think he just said he was taking her.
Well, I was there when she asked him to take her, so
Yes,
I would have known.
right.
I just don't remember.
Yeah, and then do you I don't remember if I said it, and I should watch my own replays.
You did say it in front of me. I just don't remember.
Okay, so no, what I was going to ask is, does Ellie know that Raven asked Jett to bring? Yes, he does. I remember the conversation. Yeah, he told you. He said, the lady you just met asked me to bring the doctor to her. Right?
Yeah.
So, okay, just had to clear that up. So yes, Miss Alice. He drops his hand. Not what you were expecting.
Nothing about you is what the hell I was expecting.
And he kind of spins on his heel, and a little bit of dust comes up from his cowboy boots and his well-worn cowboy boots, and he just off to the stables like a living legend down the center of the street.
Flabbergasted, just like what she is. I'm so confused and intrigued at the same time, and I keep getting answers that lead to more questions.
You put the words investigative journalist in your backstory.
I did. Which is why I need to know the answers to all the questions.
Well, speaking of which, you probably got a telegram waiting for you by now.
I know, but I don't want to leave Ellie alone.
Speaking of which, the two of you are now standing in front of the doctor's office. Ellie, you see Baptiste walk away and figure it must be safe to come back now.
Yeah, I'm gonna walk over to Ellie. If she doesn't walk over to me first,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say, that man, I swear to God, is so damn mysterious. I do not even know where to put my left foot and where to put my right foot.
I know where to put mine, away from his direction.
I want to walk down that road so bad and follow that man to find out what in the world is going on. You have no idea, darling.
He gallops by, going at a ridiculous speed, heading out of town. Boom, 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 boom.
Alice was just like, oh, hey, Rebecca. Because I rode that horse once, so I know.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm gonna tell Ellie, I'm gonna be like, I don't know what you have got to deal with, but I need to get to the photograph office, the newspaper office. I've got a picture I need to get developed like right yesterday, and I need to check on some things.
Well, my plan was to introduce Jett to Charlie because he wanted to meet him, but it seems like the undead doctor kind of disrupted those. So at the moment, nothing. Would you like me to accompany you?
You can do whatever you want.
I'll follow Miss Alice.
But I'm going to tell you, if you come with me, anything that you see, anything that you hear, is strictly need to know, and nobody, and I mean damn nobody, needs to know.
Understood, Miss Alice. You know, I usually found myself in the situations as a barmaid, but I am really finding myself in the situations lately of need-to-know basis.
I got a feeling it's something to do with this town. I don't know what in the hell is going. Whatever. Anyway, and Alice will turn on heel, and walk ever so gracefully towards the newspaper office and Dan Comfort and some freaking answers, hopefully.
The two of you head down the street.
Girls trip.
Lessamax, I'm getting to you, but I want to do this first. I want to finish this bit first. Okay, cool.
I'm enjoying the show.
The two of you walk down the street. This town's only half populated. If you remember, a lot of people died. It's only 3 days ago that this train came down this hill and took out half this town. There is still, by the way, a large steaming wreck of a hell train lying just on the edge of town. Still smoking slightly, but probably nothing wrong with that. The two of you make your way up Main Street and arrive at the Paradise Dispatch.
And I will, and Ellie's gonna wonder what in the world's happening. But as we're out, like when we get close to it, I assume we're having conversation, whatever. But as we get close to it, I'm gonna say, now, Ellie, come on, join me in the like as loud as possible. Like
Let Dan know you're coming. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, not subtly at all.
You kind of rattle the door handle a couple times.
Like, get in the door.
Oh, we're coming in. Yeah, first year acting
Ellie,
student.
come
We
in
are
with
approaching the
me.
door.
Not alone. Please be Dan
Got
Comfort.
You pull the door open, and Dan Comfort is sitting behind the desk, all sort of crouched forward. His little hat is on the desk beside him. He's got his, he's actually setting type on a fairly bland looking front page. Not much has happened yet today. And he looks up at you and says, Miss and Miss.
Ellie, have you met Mr. Comfort?
I don't believe so.
He stands up and puts his hat on so he can doff it to you, and then puts it back down on the table and kind of uncomfortably comes around the corner. He is a middle-aged, sort of in his 40s, little pot belly, little bit, well, he's not a little bald, he's quite a bit bald. He's got a little chin, he's sort of heavy, just a little bit sweaty. One of those guys, in modern times, he'd still have 4 pens and a pocket protector. He's that guy, right? And he says, Dan Comfort, editor, story writer, artist, photographer, delivery boy, Paradise Dispatch.
I just give him a nod, and I'm just going to say, it sounds like you're quite the impressive man, Mr. Comfort. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Kind of drops his hand, realizing he's not going to get a shake.
He's an impressive idiot.
One man show, miss. Yes. He looks over at you. He says, you look excited, Miss Alice.
And Alice will, kind of as an aside to Ellie, like, she's like, well, also, you should know, he doesn't quite do all of them things by himself anymore. He does have some help now, even though he does not seem so inclined to mention that. And then and then just without another word, she's gonna look at the, like, her eyes will dart to the telegraph machine and back to Dan.
And he looks at you and just nods and says, I haven't taken the liberty of reading it, miss. It's still hanging out of the machine. You look over and the tape is still hanging out of the side. He is not done. He's not ripped it off and put it on paper and translated it at all.
Okay, so
given your background, you can do it. You can eyeball it.
Yep. I'm going to read that telegraph. I want to know what it says.
A little narrative thing here. You kind of asked who was at that party, and there was 250 people at that party, so he's not going to send you 250 names. So we will assume that there was a small sort of correspondence back and forth while you didn't know who you were looking for.
One of the guy, it was a guy, so that narrows it down.
Yeah, you get a full name. It's the same name he gave you, Baptiste Saint-Aubert. He was there with one William Hickok and William's girlfriend Jane, last name unknown. They were there being honored for police work, is what we'd call it now. They were basically, the three of them were seen as lawmakers in the good old West way, where you go into town and shoot everybody that's a badass and then leave. They once called William Hickok Wild Bill.
Well, that's some news.
I was waiting for that to drop.
The Jane thing makes sense now.
Yeah. No last name.
Oh God. Okay.
It'd be a terrible calamity if nobody figures that out.
So, damn it. Okay, so Baptiste was just hanging around with Wild Bill.
Yeah, he was basically being the party was not entirely for him because that wouldn't have been appropriate, but he was
Right.
there as an honored guest.
And this was what, 11 years ago?
This was half your life ago.
Okay, so a little bit more though. Not much though. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna send a quick telegraph back, thanking Lewis for his information, and asking if there's any update on the financial crap hole that he has dug us into.
He sends back to you, thank you, assets received, no change expected, 6 months minimum. And then there's another one, a couple minutes later, there's another shorter one arrives that says, talking to my brother, hush, hush.
Oh. Do we have to deal with him? Is there really no other way?
You sent that as a telegram back.
Yeah.
He sends back, not discussing over telegram.
She's gonna just all it's gonna say.
But honestly, you don't think he's got the bottle.
Yeah, all it's gonna say is, "Oh, Lewis." That's it. That's all she can think to muster. To Ellie, Alice is gonna look maybe a little more or a little less composed than usual, I guess I should say. And she's gonna kind of shake it off, and she's gonna say, and she's gonna turn to Dan, and she's gonna pretend like none of that just happened, and she's gonna pull out the ghost steel daguerreotype, and she's gonna say, and then she kind of comes back to like, yeah.
His hand, like he's trying to go gimme, but they're shaking. He's just like, come on.
She says, now we have to be very careful about this because as soon as I exposed the plate to light and pulled it out, the box was smoking.
And he stops for a second and he pulls open not the drawer with the article and that one, but below he pulls open another drawer, pulls out a pair of white gloves.
Yeah.
They're document gloves. They're not. Yeah. They're not.
It's still in the box.
Gloves. Yeah.
Like it's still in the box that it goes in the back of the camera.
You get the impression this is all he can think of. It's not like he thinks this is actually going to help. They're little cotton gloves, right? But he reaches out again for the thing, and his hands are just vibrating in these little white gloves now.
I'll give it to him. Like I'm gonna give it to him, but I'm a first tell him he needs to calm. You need to calm the hell down because if you drop this, you have completely wasted 1/3 of the experiment that we have begun.
Miss Ellie, can you please make me a scrutinize check? I'm assuming you're watching this conversation?
Yep.
There's a weird moment just after Alice says that. Dan's face kind of shimmers, like not magically. It's just like for a split second, he looks older and more serious. And there's just this tiny, not even like the head doesn't move. It's just an eye nod. That sort of thing. And then maybe it didn't happen. Alice, for that long, like just a micro expression, you saw other Dan looking at you like, I got this.
And she kind of looks at Ellie and she's like, I told you he's a damn fool. And then
he's already turning. He's looking over her shoulder. You coming? Once the door's closed, I ain't.
Yep. And then she'll Ellie, you want to see something really cool?
Cooler than what we've seen so far on this trip?
Alice is just gonna be like, Just
As Alice
come here.
gestures towards a dark room with a strange man in it and says, "Come with us."
there's light, okay? It's very little light, but there's light.
It's like a
Yeah,
that
Ellie's-
work? A candle with a red filter? Would that give you enough red light? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, probably. I mean, depending on.
It does now.
Yeah.
We just did that. There's a
If it
candle
was
in
a
the corner
small
of the
room,
room.
it's,
Just a little room with a little candle and a red filter in front of it so it doesn't spoil the exposure.
yeah, you can see to move around and stuff in there. It's not like.
And there's the three big, it's like he's been waiting. He pulls off this sheet off the table and there's three trays with about, three-quarters of an inch of clear liquid in all three of them.
And she's she's like trying to get Ellie to come in there.
No, I come in.
And she's gonna say, Ellie, do you know anything about the photographic process?
Afraid not to. Just drunken slurs from photographers at bars, but you really can't gather anything coherent from that. So I'm afraid I have really no knowledge.
And
Of course not.
he turns to you, Alice, and says, "You talk, I'll do." And he starts to slide it out of the tray and into the first tray.
So I'll
Starts rocking it back and
I'll kind of explain the process to her, like
I got it right? There's three trays.
Yeah,
Developer,
yeah,
fixative, rinse.
yeah.
I
Well,
remember.
in this day, it was some heavy chemicals.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like
you were explaining
like a
the
sodium
process as
thiosulfate, and then a hot solution of gold
Yes.
chloride.
Yes.
Yeah.
Take a chip. Take a chip. Thank you. That is beyond role play. That is real world knowledge drifting into the game to make it a more realistic place. Have a chip.
Because it's things and stuff, and so it's like because you do first the sodium thiosulfate, and then
he puts
the
stuff
gold
in the liquid and
chloride
rocks it
brings
back and
out
forth, and
the color in
Yes.
the picture.
the first one, areas get dark. He lets it go for a while and he says, "It's all about the timing," pulls it out and kind of shakes that liquid off, slides it into the second one. There's a clear reaction. There's kind of a fizzing on the surface as he slides it into the second one. And for a second, he kind of looks shocked. He starts rocking that one back and forth. And you're hearing Miss Alice explain how this chemical reaction is working. And as he takes it out to put it in the third one, you can start to see not really an image, but it's colorful. It's like a rainbow. And for a moment, you think it might just be the chemicals. And he puts it in the third one, which is just water. He's just rinsing it clean. And as he takes it out in the red light, it's too hard to tell, but there's purples and greens and blues and yellows. And I can't see it in here. I can't step outside. And the room is small. So you guys are going to have to back out first.
You're muted.
Sorry, Alice is gonna try to. She's noticed things, so she's gonna try to make sure she stays between Dan and Ellie at all times.
Sure. I mean, the order you came in. So Ellie would have to sort of reach around behind you in the almost darkness and find the door handle to boom, back out into the lit room.
Yeah.
Alice comes stumbling out backwards first, bustle first out of the room. And then Sam comes out with this metal plate about a foot square in his hands. And he's tilting it forward as he's looking down, and you guys kind of back out, and he gets to the door where the light hits it. He goes, "Oh, was somebody moving?" It's a big blur across the middle. Color's pretty though. "Oh shit!" And he drops it, and it lands on the floor. Luckily, it's a metal plate, not glass. It does not break. The two of you can now look down and see it. He was holding it up in front of himself. There is a big blur across the front, like what happens when you do a long explosion with people moving through it.
Yeah, well, because Baptiste and Jett were
they ran right through your shot.
Yeah.
Your very first
bastards.
shot. Here's the thing. You look down at the floor, and there's this 12 by 12 daguerreotype metal sheet sitting on the floor. But it looks like it's 12 by 12 by 12 inches deep. It looks like it goes into the floor. You very quickly pick up a corner and look. It doesn't. It's only that thick. But when you look at the surface, it doesn't look like a picture. It looks like you're looking inside a box. And everything in that box is in 3D. So there's the mausoleum, the winding sheets, this blur across the front in this 3D 12 by 12 box. The other thing that's weird is the colors. It's purples and greens and yellows. It's not sepia toned. And they change as you move it side to side. Miss Alice, if you would be so kind as to give me a guts check, please, because I'm assuming it would be you that picked it up. Yeah. You kind of tilt it side to side to see what it does to the colors. And you tilt it to this side, and as you start to go this way, the image of Jett and Baptiste come clear. And as you rotate it in front of you, they move.
What?
5 steps. In the background, the winding sheets do this on the ground. And as you get to the other edge of it, your hands start to shake and you're looking at him going, nope, I am a lady. Nope, I am a lady. You drop it. Blang, blang, blang on the floor. You look down and it's like looking into a hole in the floor. You tilt your head this way and the two of them back up. You tilt your head this way and the two of them move forward. Looks like you caught about 2 seconds, which, thinking about it, is how long you exposed the camera for.
Dan, what?
Miss Alice, I know I said I don't know anything about photography, but I've read newspapers. What, have you ever seen whatever?
And she's like shaking. She's like, do I look like I have ever seen anything like that?
You took the photo.
Yeah, but
and you hear behind you, and you turn around, and Dan has 3 fluted.
She turns around with her
glasses.
hand out. She knows the sound. She
He's got
turns
3
around like
fluted
this.
champagne glasses, and he's pouring very expensive French champagne with a handmade label, just going around in circles to the 3 of them. He puts the bottle down, hands them out. Yeah, you grab yours. Miss Ellie, is it?
Yeah, I've never drank anything this expensive before.
Well, it's for and there's a second where his accent almost breaks, Alice, and then he visibly to Miss Alice, you're about to be, I believe, what they call filthy rich. I think maybe you're buying drinks next time.
Well, I already am pretty rich, but filthy rich is a fine addition.
You remember he read the first telegram because he translated it for you.
Yeah, but Ellie doesn't know that.
Nope. I'm just making sure. I'm just making sure Sarah remembers.
She because when she says it, she's like,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm taking a,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna go back over and pick the picture up, and just like looking at it.
And yeah, so you and Ellie and Dan go through the bottle of champagne very quickly, like 2 or 3 glasses each, and he is just, every time he looks at it, he's just laughing.
Can I, just looking at the wine bottle, can I tell how much money this would be worth?
You've worked in some very high-end bars and some very high-end hotel tavern or hotel places.
Yeah.
And this wine has no business being in the middle of nowhere like this. Like, there's no reason in the world you can think of, no way you could fathom that a bottle of French, hand-labeled French wine would be in this podunk town in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of a civil war. Now that you look at it, I'm not even going to make you roll because you asked a really smart question. You look at these glasses. This is lead crystal.
That also doesn't have business being here.
No, it does not. And how the hell they got it here on a train and on muleback and on everything else doesn't make a lot of sense.
I imagine that she's kind of doing one of these where she's like looking like.
Yeah, well, let's ask. Are you trying to hide it in any way, or are you just like visibly putting this together in your head?
No, I have no reason to hide it.
Yeah.
I'm just
Great,
real
thank
confused.
you. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't stepping on anybody's player toes, right?
Alice is kind of gonna like kind of look at her and be like not don't. The kind of look that's like no don't don't do that.
Yeah.
And then like I'm looking at this picture and I'm like tilting it this way to see like and up and back and
yeah, it only really works in the side to side to make things to make it happen over time, and it's basically it's like a book. If you start on when you're looking at it, if you start on that side and rotate it to that side, they move forward, and if you do it the other way, it's funny, they move backwards. It might be funny to film somebody eating with that would be weird. First time that had ever been done. But yeah, it's moving pictures and it's 3-dimensional. It doesn't project out though. It looks like it's inside, like right? Inward. So a couple things that you figure out is you can't think of any way to project this. Like if you wanted a bigger image, you'd have to have a bigger piece of steel with more coating on it and a much bigger camera.
Yeah.
The other thing, because of your back, the other thing I wanted to mention real quick, because of your background, you can imagine, like you figured out that you had a 2-second exposure and the movement lasted 2 seconds. You know enough about exposure to know if you expose it much longer than that, the image is going to start to be overexposed and dark and hard to see. So,
that's what I literally just had that thought where I was like, I wonder how long you do it. And I was like,
I've been thinking about this for weeks.
It's gonna be so bright that.
So you start thinking about, do I make aperture smaller and do longer exposures? Is there some way to limit this? Can I use frosted glass? All this sort of crazy stuff. But you can, in a matter of minutes with your background, and Dan's just watching you grinning as you put this together in your head, this multi-million-dollar industry.
Yeah.
Moving pictures in boxes. I told you I wasn't going to take your big money feet away from you. You took it as a perk.
This is okay. This is a lot. And Alice is kind of she'll be like, I did ask you if you wanted to see something cool. That's pretty cool.
I've seen some weird stuff, but I've never seen anything like this.
And I don't know if I have mentioned it to Ellie, but I will tell her that, by the way, in case I forgot to mention it, the reason this image turned out like this is because I took it on a daguerreotype plate made of ghost steel.
I wonder what about ghost steel would cause it to have these sort of moving properties.
I don't know, darling, but I'm going to need a lot more of it.
I could just see in your head, Alice is doing the math. Okay, every one of those, because there's all the rails still, right? From the end of the train wreck. Yeah, there's probably half a ton of ghost steel sitting out there that just needs to be heated and pounded out flat into who knows what size sheets.
Yeah.
And then treated with the special purple chemical, and then treated with the ghost. Oh, you got your work ahead of you. And like I said, every time you look up, Dan is looking at you and just grinning.
Yeah.
And it's
weird because I know that he's Dan. He's old Dan pretending to be new Dan, and it's the weird.
And he is now sitting in the door frame to the dark room. He's got his back up against one frame and his feet up against the other side, and he's got the empty wine glass just dangling in his fingers as his hand sort of balances on his knee. And he's just looking at you. He keeps looking at both of you, but he keeps coming back to you, Alice, just watching you put this together.
She's gonna be a little petty. She's gonna say, well, I definitely think that we should keep this inside the group for now until I've done some more experimentation. I do want to show that Undertaker, and damn, I wish Baptiste and Jett were here so I could rub it in their faces.
Yeah, we got a Wild West show right now with no cowboys in it. This is awesome.
I know. I'm like, they've been giving me so much crap about all the pictures I'm taking, and now I'm like, look at this. Like this is a whole new thing, and they're not here for me to.
And best of all, for Alice, it's measurable science. It's
Yeah,
not crazy
it is.
magic shit. It's real science.
It's the
Chemicals and
chemicals are
stuff.
reacting, and the stuff that's happening.
Unlike that gigantic hell train that's sitting on its side that came out of a mountain.
Yeah,
with
we ain't
no
gonna-
rails.
We ain't
We're not
gonna
thinking about
talk
that right now.
about that right now. Alice is gonna she's gonna be like, yeah, that's what. Let's go to the place with the dead people. She's so flustered that she can't even
You hear from
words
the
are
floor.
not. She at this moment.
Cemetery, Miss Alice. Cemetery.
At this moment, she is all pretense of the posh and the
Oh.
all of that is gone. Like she's just like, let's go.
Miss Alice, I don't think I've ever seen you this excited.
And you ain't gonna never again, but we shouldn't. And she's like shaking and I almost feel like I should make a check to see if I make sure I don't pass out or something because I'm so
You said it. Give me another guts check.
okay, I might pass
Not this
out.
on yourself. I was going to let you fluster your way through it.
I
What?
might pass out. I feel like
Okay,
I
yeah, you-
didn't pass out.
And
Yeah.
your very shaky glass of wine, the dregs, you finish off the last of the champagne, and you hear your mother's voice say, Alice, behave. And snap back.
And then kind of you kind of see her slowly literally physically shaking herself back into okay, well, that's fine, shake it off. And then she'll say, well, now shall we go find the one with the hat?
Yes, just could I have one moment, Miss Alice?
Sure.
I'm just gonna turn.
Dan rolls into, doesn't stand up, just rolls into the dark room and uses his foot to push the door closed. And you were in there. It's very thick insulated wall, so he can't hear you.
No, I was meaning, could I have one moment with Dan?
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
From inside, and the door opens up and he comes back out. He stands back up, straighten his little vest.
Do you want a moment alone or
No, that's all right. I know people fairly well, and more than people, I know drinks.
oh no.
And I know that this is Miss Alice's or Baptiste round of champagne. I just can't fathom how you could afford the glasses, let alone the alcohol, Dan. Especially in a place like this, there's no place that you could have earned such money.
And he turns to you, Alice, with a look on his face. It's still Dan Comfort, but the look on his face is, I'm so sorry. But he's looking at you for permission.
You're muted.
You keep
Alice
muting
will
yourself.
I know. Alice will kind of hold that thought, and just remember what we talked about before we came in here. And then she knows so she's just gonna go sit down in Dan's chair.
Okay. So you basically told him not to to spill the beans?
No, I told him, I was like, go ahead. Like,
Okay.
I'm gonna let.
In that case, you sit in his chair and he looks at you and says, "With your permission, ma'am, would you move your knees?"
And she'll move and like knowingly like tap the drawer that the
and his shoulders come up, Ellie, and back, and the eyes just light up with this intelligent look. It's almost like a different person. He's still wearing these same shabby, spotty, ink-colored clothes, but somehow they look like props now. And he looks at you as he pulls open first the top drawer, and he throws a magazine on the table in front of you, and then he pulls open the bottom drawer and pulls out another bottle of exactly the same champagne, and puts it on the table beside the article. And he says, "Page 1." And he goes, "Oh, wait." And he sits down in his chair and turns his head at this angle, like this, like he's posing. You open up the magazine.
Yep.
To page 1. And it's an expose of Father Grimm, the man who is running California as a religious cult, essentially. Well, we're outside it, so we call it a cult. The people inside it call it a family. That's how those work. It's an expose on him and how he's using the money that he's tithing for his own personal benefit. This is a complete expose of him. If this had come out, it would have been a huge issue for him. And the byline is a picture. And the first name is Dan. The last name is not Comfort. But the drawing in that picture, the image of the author, is the proud, smiling man sitting behind the counter. But about 10 years ago, by the looks of it, he's a bit younger. He reaches for the bottle and says, "Shall I?" with his thumb on the cork.
What's the last name on there?
Alice, do you remember? I have to look it up.
I also have to look it up. I'm so used to calling him Dan Comfort to keep his
We play some break music here.
To keep his
Here he is. Okay, what's his real name?
Identity secret.
Daniel Clark. Thank you. I got there first. Woohoo! Daniel Clark is what the byline says. And like I said, it's Dan, but like 10 years ago, and it's this new, confident looking Dan, not the half-wit you saw before you not a minute ago.
Well, Mr. Clark, you must have been very successful at what you did. I've heard so many stories about this exact article, but nothing like this.
And he's just beaming with pride.
What happened?
They found out I was going to publish it. And oh, did I have to run.
I understand that, and you're quite the actor, sir.
Thank you. It's what I actually went to school for. This need to know thing came later. He looks over at Miss Alice when he says this need to know thing came later.
Yeah. Yeah, this is
I
specifically what I was talking about when I was saying that earlier.
I assume I can count on your...
Of course. A barmaid never tells. You're good at your job, I'm good at mine.
Thank you, Miss Ellie. That's right. You're a barmaid. Isn't that wonderful? And it's Dan Comfort again, sitting behind the table. Picks up his little hat. His shoulders just drop, and it's like he's 3 inches shorter and 20 pounds heavier and 10 years older.
Yeah.
Miss Alice, I don't know about you, but every time I think this town can't surprise me anymore, somehow.
Yeah, and that whole switcheroo thing, I really still haven't gotten used to that. I don't really know that I ever will. So, don't feel bad about that.
He's just grinning. It's Dan grinning at you, but it's not. It's Daniel's grin. Like he's even split the face.
Oh,
right?
Lord.
It's Daniel from here up. It's
It's-
Dan. Yeah, it's Dan Comfort, and from there down, it's Dan Clark.
I'm so uncomfortable.
And
Yeah,
he puts the bottle back in the drawer,
yeah,
closes it, reaches
And
for
then-
the article,
yeah.
puts it in the drawer, locks the drawer, puts the keys back in his pocket.
Yep.
You probably want to keep that print, Miss Alice. I wouldn't trust me with it.
Yeah, I don't.
I'm not trustworthy, you see.
I don't trust you with it at all. It's hard to tell what you'll be doing. And I will make sure to get another daguerreotype plate from him because I only took the one.
Yeah,
With me.
you only took
Make
one.
sure
So
to
you
get-
take one more.
We have 3,
And
so I'll
he
make
hands
sure
it to you. There, each one is in their little wooden frame, very carefully built to keep the light out. And he hands you that. The shake is gone from his hands. He's just grinning, and he says to you as you go to leave, Miss Alice, how in the hell are we going to get this on paper? And he's looking down at his printing machine. Like he's trying to figure out how to do 3D art on the front of his newspaper already.
Alice is going to say, I don't know, but I guess you better get to work figuring it out.
And as you walk out the door, you hear him muttering things like, Ghost Rock paper. How am I going to make Ghost Rock paper? And he's sitting at his desk starting to scratch notes onto that big blotter that he was doing all the math on before.
Yeah. Oh, that math. Yes. Anyway.
You didn't ask about that.
Well, Ellie was there.
So out the door, the two of you go.
Yep. And Alice at least wants to go find the Hat Man.
So yeah, the sun hits you guys in the face as you step out, knowing more than you knew when you stepped in. Miss Alice, it's probably all in your head, but that daguerreotype print almost feels like it makes that pack heavier. Like the phrase that comes to mind, heavy is the head that wears the crown. You have the only proof of a fantastic new technology in your backpack.
Yeah. That's why I took it with me. Because as much as he said he was fine with it, I know Dan was going to be sending that thing off somewhere or something crazy.
He
like
would have
that.
at least been trying to figure out how to scrape that image off the metal and put it on a piece front page of his newspaper, right? You've seen him before enough to know that he wants to be famous again. He wants to, he helped you take the most amazing pictures of the Hell Train by throwing water on the still steaming wreckage to make it more impressive.
Yeah.
So the man has no limits as far as you can tell, as far as telling a good story. And you just showed him the most amazing technology in the world. So yeah, you probably best not to leave it with him.
I feel like
nice as he is.
she's, even though nobody knows, I feel like Alice is looking over her shoulder a little more than usual.
Sure. You're starting to believe what the sheriff told you, what the doctor told you, what the blacksmith told you, what the bartender told you. Everybody in this town is nuts in one way or another. Nobody can be trusted.
And I'm right up there with him, working
And
apparently.
the two of you are walking down the street of No Trustville, heading
Yep.
of all places for the cemetery,
Yep.
where we find a segue. And at the end of that segue, in the cemetery, we find a tall man in a suit. First, a little bit of bookkeeping first here. This tall man in a suit, the one leg of his otherwise perfectly tailored suit is ripped wide open. And there's a big bloody tooth mark in his leg. And then on his belly, his waistcoat is again ripped to the side. And while he has been physically healed, the clothes themselves are still ripped, torn, and covered in blood. So that's who stands in the sunlight all alone in this graveyard.
Gotta
The body,
pick up my hat.
yep. The body of the gravedigger Jeb Early has been taken down off the fence and is now resting on the ground next to this mausoleum. There's still the 3 winding sheets stuck to the grass by the blood that's on them. They're empty. Those bodies are still gone and unaccounted for. You know, because you were here the night before. You helped do this. That mausoleum just ahead of you is full. There should be 24 more bodies in there, each in their own winding sheet, which were dead when you put them in there, but were dancing in the dark, if I may make yet another 80s music reference. If you remember, every time it got dark, they jittered and bounced. They did not come back from the dead, but they jittered and bounced around. You and Baptiste saw this morning that had stopped, but they were all willy-nilly in there now. You guys had placed them in there in a nice, neat order, showing respect and propriety. But you've been in that room once already, and they're all over themselves in this pile.
But completely still?
Oh, absolutely, completely still. They have not moved since you got here this morning.
And there's 3 bodies missing.
There are 3 empty winding sheets just outside the front of this big metal door to this big stone mausoleum. You look around and you are the only living being in this cemetery.
Oddly enough, I feel comfortable.
Relax. You've got to get these bodies ready. It's your job. Nobody else wants to do this.
Just like home, I suppose. I say to myself. I look at Jed. I'm sorry, not. Jed Early.
Jeb? Yep.
Jeb, I'm like, I'm sorry, I never wanted this job, not like this. Like this.
And it's a little disturbing because, I mean, you've seen bodies before, but this one, when you laid him down on the ground, you tried to lay him in a sort of respectful position, but part of that was hard to do because he'd been sort of on this spike and sort of rigor mortis had set in, but he's kind of like that, but his head is thrown way back. So when you look over, you can see this perfect cut line.
Mm-hmm.
Like some kind of obscene bloody smile.
On his neck. I see.
On his neck, right below.
Perfect medical cut.
There's not even any bruising.
Oh, you poor sod. I'm going to need help in the future. Maybe I'll have to hire someone. Or maybe I'll make someone. I remember Jed said that he had a hut. He lived somewhere.
There's a little. He lives in town, but there is a little hut here that has his tools and things. Because obviously, when the family of the deceased shows up, they don't want to see shovels leaning against the fence. So there's this tasteful little building in the corner.
Okay.
All dark gray and black and blending into the trees.
Could I do a little investigation there?
Absolutely. You go in and the door's not locked. You open it up and it's exactly what you'd expect. There's shovels, pickaxes, sod cutters. There's a little wheeled dolly that takes you a second to figure out, but it's for moving headstones.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and
all very neat and tidy.
I kept things in a very organized fashion. I commend him for that.
Yeah, you look out, and he wasn't an undertaker. He told you this. He was just a grave digger, even in his own words. But he did damn nice work. This is your job. I mean, you don't bury him, but you've been around dead people and funerals and cemeteries your whole life. He did damn fine work, as unlikable as he was as a person.
Am I to assume also if he had any records or books, any information, he would have that in his home?
There is no desk here. There's no paperwork here, which is kind of weird. There's not even like a map you would normally expect to find in an office at a cemetery. They have the map so you can get to your family member without having to read every stone in the building, right?
That's peculiar. Didn't really do the book work. Okay.
Either that or it's just not here.
Okay. I'm thinking to myself that I should investigate his house later, but I do have work to do, so I'm going to do that. And if I find something out of the ordinary, I'll look for
You
that.
walk back to that mausoleum, and those 3 winding sheets are still on the ground, just being wafted in the breeze. Make a tracking check for me.
Oh, I should have put points in that one.
You can't put points in everything.
Well, I've been thinking about it, right? Because we did use it a couple times already.
Yeah.
Tracking. Where's that under? Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah, under cognition, top left corner. Last one. Yeah, not a clue. Perfect. You look around, and all you can see is these 3 winding sheets and that mark on the door where the big heavy metal door was, where you and Baptiste opened it up.
Mm-hmm. That's all I see. Just okay.
Yep. And you know that your job. Oh, you also do see. I've failed to mention it several times today, but we did mention it last time. There's a supply of simple coffins.
Right.
Sitting just outside the mausoleum. The men of the town were building them yesterday when they were planning on trying to bury everybody last night before the nightly dance began. If you remember, Jeb's excuse was he wanted to get them buried so that 6 feet of dirt would dampen the sound of them dancing in their coffins.
Is there enough holes and coffins? Graves digging?
You look, and yes, it's there's actually 3 too many.
3 too.
You're missing 3 bodies.
That's true.
Still.
Okay.
These winding sheets are empty.
Let's see. So could I look at a few of just the recent graves and then some of the older graves?
Yeah, what you figure out very quickly is the rate of attrition in this town is crazy. As Baptiste pointed out last week, there are half as many dead people in this graveyard as there are living people in that town, and that's before the 30 that you just added in the Hell Train crash. There's way too many. This is not natural. You know about how many. You got, this is your job, right? So this population produces this many dead per year unless there's a plague. These numbers are way too high.
Okay. Yeah. Do I see anything of like occult or like something of unnatural kind of
Go
symbol?
ahead and give me an occult check, an occultism in your academia.
Okay.
Can anybody but me feel him resisting opening the door to? Yeah, you're going in, you bastard. You're going in. That's your job in there. That's where the bodies are. 21. Okay. Particularly because of the Baphomet recently, the Baphomet image with the train and everything else, you really have a look around. There's not a damn thing occult about any of this.
At least they didn't defile this grave. Okay, well, I better get to it then. That's procrastination.
We could feed it. You say, what else can I do? I skip around the graveyard for 25 minutes.
Well, I am searching for clues.
I stretch my shoulders.
To be fair.
Is that a butterfly?
I didn't mention it. So you have a weird moment because this is your job. You handle dead people all the time, but you don't want to open this door. You just don't want to do it. These people wouldn't stay dead. That's why you put them in here in the first place. You pull open the door, and there's a bit of inside. You but it's just the winding sheets moving in the wind. But there is this chaotic piling, just they're on top of each other and in heaps because they all did that juddering dancing thing that you saw, and they're all sort of kind of come together in the middle of this not very spacious mausoleum, in this big pile of dead cloth wrapped humanity.
Time to get to work. So,
You realize very quickly it's too cramped in there and you don't need it. Your shovel's just going to get in the way. Like, this is going to be a get in there to pull people out sort of a job.
yeah.
So you lean your shovel beside the door.
Yeah.
Step in. Okay. You realize quite quickly you can't just pull these people out on the lawn. People will see it. You're going to have to put them back like they were. You're going to have to regiment them again and get them stretched out and like they were again on the floor. And that means starting at the back. So you make your way in, being very careful not to step on the bodies. And you start to unfold them and put them in this tight space. And there's 1, and then 2, and then 3, and then 4. Because you rolled a 2 on your tracking, you have no idea when a hand on your shoulder. You look down and the flesh is falling off the fingers. And you can see just a tiny cuff and a little bit of gray uniform. And we'll come back right after the break.
Damn it, Kevin.
Ooh-wee. I tell you what, it's pretty adorable seeing people get all excited about 3D moving pictures. I see in 8 dimensions, each one more horrifying and incomprehensible than the last.
Is
but
Marty's
speaking
vision a kaleidoscope?
You would have a hard time comprehending the magnitude of my vision. It's all right. Speaking of 3D things, I think Jonathan's got to show us something.
Yeah. Thanks, man. So as I said, we have a giveaway today because we've got so many new followers in the last 24 hours that we got to do giveaways back to back to back.
Yes.
Which is the greatest thing ever. Thank
It's
you all
amazing.
again
Thank you.
to everyone who came out for
Unbelievable.
Joe Cat from the Wiggler Army. We really love having you here, and thank you for coming back and checking us out. Let me pop open a quick video capture here so I can show you.
I have a word too, Mr.
Yeah, go for
Producer. Mr. Producer, I know we're going to need a word.
Yeah, what's your word?
It's really simple.
Oh, God.
Thanks.
No.
Just thanks. So to get in on the giveaway to win this here lovely dice chest from Elderwood Academy, and yes, it does come with the bag, and yes, it does have dice in it, but you can't even hear them because they fit so beautifully and snugly with those magnets.
Stealth dice chest.
It's just like, it doesn't rattle around in your pocket. You have to shake it pretty hard, but it doesn't really rattle around your pocket. They're absolutely fantastic. So if you want to win this, type thanks into the chat and you could be the winner. Just ask gods above who won our giveaway yesterday and is going to be receiving that awesome dice tray. So with that, also we want to mention, if we get 1 more subscriber, we get to unlock
We're
another
so
remote.
close.
So
Again?
if anyone's got that Prime sub and you haven't used it yet, you know, maybe just a little love. But thank you all for coming out and showing us the love, and I hope you're enjoying the story so far. And we'll be back after the break.
All right, we're back. Idyllic walks through the forest for 2 young ladies who have had a wonderful and informative morning with perhaps a little more information than they expected, but it's a beautiful
Can I break
day.
on and say I was running?
Not after what you just went through.
Just for no.
You've had a couple
just-
glasses of champagne before
Just having
lunch.
a nice jog.
You're carrying $1 million idea in your backpack. It's a nice day.
Meanwhile,
no idea that Lucius roll me some quickness.
Alice, do you want to stop and look at these trees?
3.
Yeah.
Okay, that's okay. That's okay.
let's see.
Come on, Lucius.
Quickness. Quickness, you always fail me, but maybe not this time.
I believe in you.
It's probably gonna fail you,
Oh my god!
but yes.
And- Two cards. Here, let me deal them to you.
I'm gonna cry a little bit.
This is the happiest moment of the entire game for him.
It's like that he finally does something amazing and nobody's there to see it.
Always,
Okay, so blue
always,
cards, and
always.
yes, I'm
It's like
asking
roll
this.
20 no's.
Okay, so blue cards, because I'm asking this because I never draw.
I'm doing this to you right now. There you
Thank
go. You
you.
got to. There you go. So, bam, hand on your shoulder. You look at it, rotting flesh. You smell it. It's been dead for a long time. You look up, you see the sleeve. Soldiers, wait a minute. Didn't we just fight? And it gets a surprise round first.
Oh, okay. Well, what if I use okay. Wait. It gets a surprise round, no matter what.
Yeah, it's essentially because you blew your nature check earlier, or your tracking check earlier. So oh dear, that's a rather large hit that it gets to move around. Combat stuff. You feel that hand on one shoulder, and then you look towards it, and on the other shoulder, you feel the bite. Except it slides down your body. I forgot it rolled hit location for you. It slides down your body and bites your right leg. You take one.
Well, this is one.
And
one on the leg.
And to the right leg. And I am going to give you some wind, which always makes me laugh. 3 wind as well.
Oh my god, really? No.
You'd healed up from any previous wind, so you were back at full because a wind only takes 10 minutes to recover.
Gosh damn it. Okay.
That may or may not be rules as written, but it's my version of it.
Okay, I'm just gonna add that wound to the right leg, you said?
Yes, it was. Yep. And then 3 wind.
Okay.
Now, cards. Ace. King. Oh dear.
Oh, come on. Okay, no. You know what? Hold on. I delay that. I use the Joker.
Okay, when?
Now, the Joker.
Which Joker?
The black Joker. Is it red or black? I can't tell.
Go ahead and pop it out there. Let's have a look.
Delay that.
It's the black
Okay.
one.
So, because you waited until I played the card, you and I have to have a quickness off to see who goes first.
Oh no.
Okay.
So, roll me
This
quick.
is not your strong suit.
Well, it's against the undead, so it's not like he's, fighting the fastest thing that's ever lived, but we'll see.
Yeah, but this is Lucius.
8. Better be Nate. Nope. It goes first. You go immediately after with that Joker.
Can I use a chip?
You can use a chip to offset any upcoming damage.
Okay.
Well, actually, you could have used one to stop that wound or that wind.
Oh, well.
Your choice.
Okay, well, can I use a white one for that?
To do which? Prevent the wound from happening at all?
Yeah.
Okay. In that case, you don't take the wind either.
Okay.
I know we don't do a lot of combat, but yeah.
So I will take
it has to
a
happen
white
at that time. So
I will take a white chip right now, and I will do that in the future.
So
from now
offset
on.
that, yep. But it
Okay.
did beat you in the quickness test, so it's going to bite you again.
Okay.
That hits. Let's see
Okay.
where.
Okay, so but I didn't take. You said I didn't take the wind, right? And
No, you won't take the wind either. So failing to bite your leg, perhaps it bit your tailcoat instead. Yet another thing you're going to have to mend after this is first day on the job. Your pants are ripped, your waistcoat is ripped, now your jacket's ripped, and then you stop thinking about that because it goes right through that hole in your waistcoat from earlier where you've still got the teeth marks from the last time, and it bites you in exactly the same spot. And does 1 wound, unless you want to burn another chip. Tell me now before I roll the wind.
How many chips do I got? Hold on, let me just check that quickly. Okay. Yes, I will you.
You
No,
said yes,
okay.
Oh, right after I made.
Okay, sorry. You know what? I will. Fine.
You're gonna burn another one? Okay.
Oh, I hate
Another
doing this.
white chip gone.
No, I'm
No
out
damage
of
on
white
that one
chips,
either.
so I'm gonna do a red chip because I'm out of white chips. So I know that gives him
Give
an
me a red
opportunity.
chip.
I know that
Ooh.
gives him an opportunity.
You know
but
what that means?
I know, but this
That
will
means
be
I get a
interesting.
chip.
Yep.
That means I get a chip. I've never had a chip in this game before.
Fine.
You're not gonna like what I do.
Because we
with that
refuse to
chip.
give them to you.
You made him happy.
Well, I wanted to see what's gonna happen. So
You're gonna see. Actually, so yes, that was your Joker. He beat you in the quickness test. You've been outsped by the undead. Oh, that's awful. But anyway, you are now. You realize you are trapped in this mausoleum. It is in the door. Your
And I
shovel is outside.
And I didn't take any.
You are up to quite literally up to your knees in dead bodies, which you have to try and somehow respect because it's your job. And this thing, in the process of all this fighting, has spun you around to face it. So you're now face to face. You can see daylight behind it.
But I didn't take any wounds or any damage, right?
Nope, because you burnt 2 chips. So you are fine.
Okay. Glad I.
It's like, wait a minute. Nope.
A lot of close calls, right? And
Yep,
so
nothing
I'm gonna sit him as.
What are you doing?
Okay, well, I take a stance. That's not like a fisticuffs, but rather an Eastern style of like martial arts stance.
Okay.
And I'm like, I better.
I will tell you, because of the incredibly difficult footing in here, your difficulty is going to be higher than it normally would be, but go right ahead.
Yep, and I will fight on martial arts.
Okay, so go ahead and give me a martial arts roll. It's funny how combat music works no matter what the scenario is. You go to throw a short shot to the ribs, and it goes right through the jacket and just out the back, and you pull back, and as you look, you see there was no ribs where you punched him.
Oh, also,
Missed.
with that black joker, does that mean I give up my second card?
That means the second that this act is over, this round is over, your card is gone.
Okay. Gotcha.
So that was so you missed.
Okay.
Down there. That means this round is over. So we recall and shuffle both these decks.
Do you take the card I have, or
Watch me. On. Shuffled. Like it never happened. Next round. You look up, you are still trapped in this. Of all the places to have this fight, you're in the mausoleum. I saw that. Sarah,
Oh,
you
the
cannot
irony.
run.
the
You do
irony?
You don't believe in magic. You cannot possibly have any other way of knowing. Quickness for round 2, please. Oh dear.
Oh
They're
God.
getting 2.
Oh, I see. So this is how it is. Everything that they were all stored into this guy instead of the last fight. Okay.
Yeah, I finally get a decent round.
Okay, I
You
get
get
one
one.
card.
So you
Okay.
can go ahead and deal yourself that 1 card.
Okay.
Well, you'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Hey. Bye-bye notes. I don't need you. Aces. Actually, it's a lie. I do need you. I have your hit points on here. Kings.
But you has 2 cards, right?
Yep. He's got 2.
Okay. Can I use the black joker again?
Oh, good grief. Yep. If you use it first. Yeah.
What's with you and all the jokers?
Works for me. Absolutely. You go ahead. He's standing right in front of you. You're
Is he
still
blocking
having-
the door?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, I guess I gotta fight my way through. Okay, martial arts.
Go ahead and give it a swing. I'm just going to recall my cards now because I don't get to use them. Sigh. That's what I get for gloating. Oh, dear. And in your... you appear to be able to go whenever you want. but you don't appear to be able to do anything with that ability, because for the second time you just whiff on the way by. You're stumbling again. It's difficult to transfer your weight without stepping on a body, which of course would be very bad.
Okay, darn it.
And that round is again. Well, I mean, it was basically a free round for you, right?
Yep. Maybe the Joker's on my side again.
Right, and the quickness again.
Okay.
I'm
Well,
sure
I'm really.
Charlie's not there dealing out jokers.
I'm getting my workout.
Yay!
It's a
I mean, it
9.
doesn't really do much, but
A 9. That's 1. Yep. You had to get 10 to get 2.
No,
well, you're buying time
pretty much.
for me and Alice to leisurely stroll up.
Not that he knows that.
No.
But you think about it, by the time you guys get there, all you're going to see is like a mausoleum with an open door. You still wouldn't know anything's going on.
I know.
There's no gunfire to draw your attention
Yeah.
or anything. Aces,
We need to get this boy a gun.
kings.
I won't.
Well, he doesn't like guns. We'll see what he thinks of that after this fight.
Nope.
No kings, queens would
What
be.
about a flare gun?
Queens would be. That would be me.
We're not even going to hear the patang of a shovel.
Patang!
Nope.
What does
Dang.
dodging do again?
Dodging, you burn a card to basically get. Dodge. You roll your fighting against my fighting to see, or brawling against brawling to see if I can hit you. If you beat me, you don't take damage.
Can I do
You
that?
have to burn your next card to do it. So
I might
whatever
have
card
to.
you've got, you'd burn it doing the dodge, which would mean you have no more actions this round.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay, go ahead and pull that card out.
Okay.
So your martial arts against my brawling.
Come on, baby. Come on, baby.
Oh dear.
Son of a witch.
So you block to the left, but the shot comes from the right.
Ugh. I'm real out of shape. Mother would kick my ass if she saw me like this.
Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to use that chip. Oh, yes. I
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
watch me go.
Okay.
Keep one D8.
So smug.
And look at that. It's just enough. Just that little bit more. Just that little bit that I needed. Oh, that feels good. The chip is gone. Just put that out there. So you are hit. Where's my? And I can feel you looking through your chips.
Yeah, I might spend a chip depending how much damage is hit on me.
You will take 1 wound to the lower guts. So you know where you had the teeth marks before? About halfway between there and places we cannot show because we are not rated mature, you just got bit again. Unless you would like to stop it.
Do I really want to use one of my blue chips? Ooh. Or another red chip. Okay, another blue chip it is. I'm gonna spend a blue
Okay,
chip.
blue chip, I don't get anything, but you.
I'm not letting
3
you-
bounty points. That's a skill level 3 that just went away because you saved your ass.
I'm just going to take out that chip right now. Give me a second.
So, you feel like you are calling upon every bit of your training and your ancestry and your will to live, and you are just blocking. You can't hit this thing for love nor money, but right now this is, oh, you know what this is? This is like one of those bad 80s martial arts movies where nothing ever hits. It's just flurry, but nobody ever hits anybody.
Yeah.
So far, that's where we are.
Yeah, and I can feel my mother's disapproval of like me not hitting. Oh my god. Okay. Can I try to like, I don't know, get in close enough and see if I can just kind of like, Oh, I'd say once we draw. It's quickness, I'm assuming.
Yep, quickness again.
Okay, here we go. Well,
This 1-on-1 combat's fairly quick. It's the
Let's see.
5-on-5 that's kind of slow.
come on,
9.
really?
Oh, by 1. Let's see what you do. Oops, I rolled it twice. I'll only take the first one, which means they go on the 2. They do not get a card.
Okay, well, in that case, should I just tell you what card I have?
Yep, just play the card and do your thing. Unless, of course, it's a buck. No, okay. Oh, wow. 2 of spades. You still get to go first. That's the, yep.
Okay. Can I attempt to just, like, I don't know, like, get in there and try to see if I can, like, attack and throw him aside, in a sense, to get him out of the way?
You want to try and fight your way past him?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Give me a strength check. Just strength on strength. He's going to try and keep you in. Ooh. Beat a 12. Nope. You go, ha! And you hurl yourself into him, and he just goes and pushes you back into the room.
Oh, you bastard. Okay.
Now it's
Bully.
his turn.
I think certain days when I was being picked on is coming back to mind.
Yep. He leans in, you lean back, and his teeth snap right here. Just if you had a beard, it's gone. You didn't. You have a braid, right? Not the yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's right here. You can smell that dead breath, and you can feel your Adam's apple retract. You know, it's that click, and pull it back out of the way. It was that close to tearing out your throat.
Oh my god.
Next
Okay.
round, quickness.
Oh, I'm getting my workout. Oh my god.
This time they get 1 card and you go on the 2. They get what they get. Not that it really matters. You go last, but I still get to see. Winning fights is fun. Oh, wait a minute. I'm the DM. Well, this didn't take long. Aces, kings, and it's me. So we'll just do that. Let's see if we can actually hit. Oh
my god.
That's definitely a hit.
Neither one of us knows medicine. I feel like I should point this out.
Yeah, even if you do get there, I'm not quite sure what you're going to do.
Funny because all our
Ooh.
healers are left. Oh my god.
That's 1 wound.
Oh, yeah, and the doctor's gone.
Yep. Doctor's gone. Priest
all
is gone.
the healers have left.
Yep.
No,
The
Jett.
other one is in the process of dying.
Oh god.
So, are you burning a chip? Because if not, I have a lovely description about what's just going to happen.
Like, and that's a lot of wounds, right?
Oh no, it's only 1 wound. The damage is only 7. It's the location that's bad. Gizzards and the head are the 2 places you absolutely positively do not want to go to 5 wounds.
Okay, blue chip it is.
I'm going to eat all your chips. All of them.
I will survive.
It bites. It basically, where it bit you before in the belly, it tries to drive its hand in to grab your guts and pull them out, but you manage to pull back. And your very expensive leather waistcoat kind of keeps your guts in as it pulls back as it tries to bite you again. And that was it. Now you, because you're going on the 2.
Okay, I'm just getting mad. I'm like, this is ridiculous. And then I just, can I use any of my chips to enhance my rolls?
After you roll, yeah.
Okay, well, depending on the roll, we'll see what happens. Okay, Marsh.
For those who may not know, the maximum amount of chips he may have started tonight with was 10. And the chips that you do not use to save your life in-game, you burn between rounds to actually gain and improve. So the more he saves his ass, the less he's going to be skilled next week.
I'm really mad about this, actually. But you know what? Living's
You
a
ain't
little
gonna be
more
very skilled
important.
if you're dead.
Pretty much. Okay, where is it? I just lost it.
Yeah,
Oh my
just give
god.
me the martial arts roll again, assuming that's what you're doing.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh,
That is
thank
definite.
goodness.
That is a movable hit. So go ahead and roll damage. I do not have any chips because you keep burning blue.
How
ones,
would
not
I
red
roll?
ones.
How would I roll that with damage?
Go to combat stuff.
Okay,
We
combat.
were just on traits and aptitudes.
Okay,
Go
yeah,
to the
'cause-
next page over, combat stuff.
I
Scroll
didn't-
down to fist.
Oh, the fist. Is that? Do I add
Should
that?
be under hand-to-hand weapons. If
Okay,
not, hit knife and we'll remove the extra damage.
Oh, here's fist. Okay, but
There
it
you go.
doesn't have the damage.
No, that's all it does is just it should say 0 because all it does is damage based on your strength. So just go ahead and hit the little die.
Okay, did it work?
Not yet.
That's weird. I thought I pressed it. Okay.
If that's not working. Go ahead and press knife, and we'll modify as necessary.
Okay, because I didn't add anything. That's weird. And there is no knife for me.
Okay, hit shovel, whatever it is. We'll figure out the difference. So that's 4. That's you don't get the weapon damage. 4 does not do a wound actually to the upper guts. It does do wind though. So do me keep 1 or keep all. It doesn't matter. 1d6.
1d6. Roll 1d6.
See if you do any. Yeah. See if you do any wind to it.
Okay.
So you finally get a shot through and punch him right in the sternum, and it's just ow shit, my fingers. 2 points of wind. Okay. I changed my mind in my head. This is now a slap fight.
I'm getting so mad.
Yep. And let's do quickness again. Let's go next. One more round. Here, let's see. Okay, 4. They going on the 2. You got a chance to go first.
Don't jinx it. Oh my god.
Okay. Yeah, its 2 is better than your 2. So it reaches in to grab at you again. Does hit, unless you're burning chips.
Nope.
No, this one you're taking. Oh, explode. Oh, 3 wounds.
Okay, well, maybe.
So you're burning chips? I'll ask you again. Blue one
Yeah.
will get rid of all 3 of those.
Yeah, fine. I'll burn a blue chip. Oh my god.
Its teeth slam shut, and you think, those were my guts. Or something else that ended in UTS. And then you backed away quickly, and your whole front of your waistcoat and shirt just stayed in its mouth. And you look down, and there's only the wounds from before. It hasn't managed to pull your guts out for the 6th time. Your turn.
Okay, well, Marshal. I'm going to attempt to try to move it
Strength
again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Try and push it by strength again. Absolutely. Give me a strength check. This time you shove it aside. So you push it out the door, bounce it off that big metal door, step to the side, and the 2 of you see Lucius and a body come flying out of the mausoleum. He slams it against the door of the mausoleum and stumbles back.
Still trying to keep a stance up. I'm like, oh god, I'm so out of breath.
Everybody can give me quickness.
Yeah.
See if you guys can actually finish this thing off.
Good lord, that was hard to watch.
Hard to watch.
they're
It's hard
slow.
to do.
Oh, they're slow.
Oh my
Wow,
gosh!
Alice is just like, I have all
Wow. Okay.
Alice is like, no!
Well, on the bright side, Lucius, you have company at 2, but they still get to go before you if they're still alive. But they're probably not going to be alive because Ellie, you get 1 card. Alice, you get 3.
We should point out that's on a 6.
Yes, you exploded a 6, so that's 3
Oh.
6s and a 1.
Oh my god.
Gonna cry.
At least you have help now.
So yeah, you see them stumble out, bang. His hat's all askew. His belly's hanging out like a bad stripper. You know, like where they're showing off the 6-pack, right?
Oh, I do have a 6-pack, so.
This thing's up against the wall with all this cloth and material hanging off, bloody fingers.
I'm so
Go ahead and
happy.
draw
right
a bunch of cards, and let's just start with aces.
now. Got one.
You got one. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Pardon me. Go ahead and bring that out. There it is. An ace and a king. How did that get out there?
I don't know. I don't know
Is
where
that
the king
king still
came
from me?
Maybe. Okay.
Recall my deck. Yeah, okay, that was from me. So there you go.
So
You can see, yeah, he slams it against the door and just sort of pushes back half a step. So you have a clear shot at it if you wish.
am I within, like, I think my weapon's like 20 yards or something?
So each 20 yards, it becomes one harder. You are from the gates, you're about 30 yards away. So it would be, instead of your difficulty being 5, it would be 6. This thing's got no cover, it's not moving, so you're not moving, so that would be it. It would just be a 6.
My pace is, what's my pace? My pace is a 6. So that'd be 3, 2, 4, 8. No, I can't.
It just gets you a little closer, but still not quite. And
Yeah.
and then the move, yeah, if you move too much of
Yeah,
that,
not
then
without running.
comes an even
Yeah.
worse penalty. So yeah.
Okay, well, I guess I'm just.
Yep.
Shoot.
Thinking to yourself, I was going to tinker a scope onto this thing one of these days.
Yeah, right.
11 hits. Go ahead and roll me some rifle shooting damage.
Oh, man. I feel like Alice is on.
You slam your way out the door. I'm free. And
Whoa!
Crit!
He's out to kill.
wow.
Good lord.
Yeah, perfect. I was at the perfect spot. Yeah, Lucius, you slam it against the door, back up one step. I'm free. I can run. And you hear the rifle shot from the distance. And this thing in front of you just folds in half, right at the waist. She shot the spine out of it. And then it just tips towards you like it's given you the most deeply respectful bow in the world and then overcompensated. And it just falls to the ground at your feet, and you're looking at its ass pointed up at you.
Oh my god.
There's this silence of immense physical shame as you look over at your shovel sitting right there.
Are we out of combat?
We are out of combat. There was
It
only
should
one
be
of them.
noted, I drew an ace, a king, and a 10.
Oh,
Also.
so, yeah, oh wow.
So
What,
not
Ellie, were you
only
ever-
what, like, I.
What did
not
you have,
only
Ellie?
I had a jack.
Okay, so you might have, yeah. If she hadn't
Yeah.
done that, you might have gone once. But
Yeah. Well,
That
we were about to
was
take care of this thing. We had
comical.
4 moves before anybody.
Oh,
I
I'm
waste
so-
so many chips.
Oh my god.
I
that
knew
was
there was a scene.
amazing.
The Raiders of the Lost Ark, the guy with the sword, ninja
Yeah.
shoots him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's basically what it was.
What was that? Was
Alice
two
was-
blue chips, a red chip, and 2 white chips, if I counted
One
correctly?
white chip, but
One-
yeah.
1
Wow.
white, 2 blue, and a.
Wow,
I spent half
6,
my
7, 8.
chips.
That's 9. Yeah, almost 10 points of chips.
I'm just
At
trying
least you're
to.
alive.
I'm trying to think of what's going through Alice's head right now. Like, what?
So yeah, that's you guys now stand in the graveyard.
What?
These 3 winding sheets still on the ground.
My suit's just ruined, isn't
Breeze.
it? Right?
You, like I said, the belly's gone out of your suit and waistcoat. Your rippedness is on public display. Yeah, your abs are out.
I like sprint over to him and start and like grab his arm and start looking him over, trying to find injuries.
I feel like Alice is just standing there amazed.
I'm just. What?
How awesome she is.
Yeah, just be like that way.
Doesn't matter whether it's a camera or rifle. If
Probably
you need it
with
shot,
Jett
you
and
call Alice
Baptiste were
O'Hare.
there. Probably with Jett or Baptiste were here, actually.
It's just like, hey, can you show
They never
up?
would have got a chance. She did that on an ace.
Oh man, and I had a king too, so.
Oh my god.
Boom.
Whew.
Oh, not necessary.
Yep.
I'm so glad I saved those chips.
So yeah,
That
you
was-
stumble back. Lucius.
Just out of breath, going. Yeah.
I'm like
Alice
looking
will
for blood.
slowly walk over. You're welcome.
Yeah, Hannah runs up and starts patting you down. You're not actually hurt, right? You blocked everything.
Yeah, I think you did. Are you okay? Where did they get you at all, or?
No, almost. In places I'd rather not talk about.
You can't help noticing there's a big sharp tooth in his belt.
I can see that. Just to breathe, I'm just gonna like pat his back.
Yeah.
I may not be winded, but I'm winded right now. So
Yeah.
Can I? Okay, I want to try.
Alice, she ran up, so you're still got some distance.
Well, I started walking after when she started running. I was like, and when I get there,
I take off my spectacles for the first time. You probably actually see my eyes, by the way.
I'm gonna put my hands on his shoulders. I'm gonna try to talk him down. I'm gonna be like, "He's dead. I killed him. You're welcome."
No. Thank you.
And she's gonna be like, "I don't think any more of them are moving. Was that the only one that was a problem?"
I hope to God.
And I'm gonna try to talk him down. But I want to do. I'm gonna make this hard on myself. I want to do my medicine psychology check to see if I can talk him. I've also been reading some books.
Yeah, give me absolutely. Give me that roll. Let's see, and then we'll see how well you do.
I'm cleaning my glasses off. By the way, this is the first time you've seen my eyes ever.
Yep. So you may they've been behind little gray sort of sunglasses. So this would be the first time it became obvious that he was really obvious that he was of Chinese descent.
Oh.
Half Chinese descent.
Okay.
I'm just gonna kind of like rub my hands on his arms and stuff, and just keep breathing. Okay, you're okay. It's dead now. You're okay.
And Alice is like, "Nah, snap out of it. Look at this."
Really? Now?
When else?
So what were you trying to figure out? Like his state of mind?
Yes,
or?
That's like I was trying to figure out like.
Okay, Lucius, let me ask you this way. On a scale of 10, which is happy, stable, positive home life, wonderful upbringing, I feel great about everything, and 0 being I don't even know who I am anymore, where is Lucius on the breaking apart scale?
It's somewhere between a 2 and a 3.
So on the brink of like actually losing control?
Yeah, because I got hurt earlier this day and I almost got killed right now. I dodged for dear life. I feel absolutely guilty and shamed that I still because I haven't been training for a while or working out, and I feel like my mom would be like, "Oh, you lack
your
discipline."
Shovel outside.
Yep. I left myself very vulnerable, and I'm not happy at that at all.
Alice
you see
is
that. Yep.
Alice is gonna try to get him to talk about it. She's gonna like, how are you feeling right now?
How am I feeling? How am I feeling?
Play it out.
Oh my God. I just about died today, and I just about died again. And I was, again, helpless, powerless, useless, as usual.
Why do you think you were useless? Also, as usual. Tell me more about that.
Oh my God. Just everything,
Take a breath, Lucius.
it shouldn't have happened this way.
What shouldn't have? The dead coming back to life? Because we figured that part out, that shouldn't be happening.
Just having flashbacks in the train station when Lily got shot, feeling useless, come back to me. Just I couldn't.
Do you say the name?
Yeah. So I was useless when I couldn't help Lily, and
Alice, you've heard this before. Ellie, you were unconscious.
And I'm just
Oh, but you had I gave you a flashback already of him calling you.
and I'm just
Okay, so yeah, you hear that name again.
And I just feel utterly useless now.
Can I roll persuasion?
What are you trying to do?
Well, I'm just gonna kind of like grab him by both arms and get him to look at me in the eye and just say, Lucius, it was not your fault. None of this is your fault.
There, you don't need to roll nothing. You just did it.
Yes, it was.
Why is it your fault? Tell me.
I couldn't save her the day we were gonna leave, and they shot her. And I was useless. I couldn't save her. Not all the knowledge I had in medical or even the skills in fighting that I had. I was only useful afterwards as an undertaker. Do you know what I did after she died? After Lily died? I carved her tombstone. I dug the grave. I prepared her body. I did everything. Just to feel a little bit useful. Just to spend a little more time with her. Because I couldn't do anything for her when she was shot down.
Who was she to you?
She was the love of my life. And my best friend. We were leaving to get married. Leaving that hellhole of Los Angeles just to get away from it. All of it.
Lucius, Lost Angels, I'm sure she saw a lot of horrible things and had a lot of horrible things in her life there. But tell me, when she was with you, was she smiling? Was she happy when she was with you?
I don't know.
If she wanted to run away with you, I know you. You wouldn't be with someone who isn't intelligent. And if she was happy with you, you weren't useless. You made her life have meaning and you made her happy. And no matter how fast someone's life ends, if they found happiness, it wasn't useless. You are not useless. You saved me when that train ran me over. That was you.
Alice is just watching and taking notes.
Yeah, while you're doing that, I would like both Hannah and Sam to take a blue chip, please. That was amazing.
I just bawling, start crying.
Yeah.
I'm gonna like wrap my arms around him and just hold him while he cries.
Miss Alice?
Is there like a bench somewhere? Like a somewhere to sit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sort of little serenity garden, I think is what they call them.
I'll kind of like usher them to that so that they're not just standing above a dead corpse.
Yep.
Having this moment.
Anything else?
I'm just gonna keep letting him cry until he feels he's ready to talk.
Done. Yeah.
I just look at the pocket watch that Lily gave me and I'm just clutching it.
And a significant amount of time goes by. Nobody's paying attention. You guys are here by yourselves in this cemetery. All these bodies still in that mausoleum. Lucius, you hear your father's voice in your head. It's not magical. It's nothing like that. It's just a voice you heard every time you started to slack off at work. Son, get to it.
I look at Ellie and I say, thank you.
You're a good friend, Lucius. Thank you for bringing happiness to my life.
You know, you don't take this the wrong way, but there's just a little glimmer that you remind me of Lily. Just the trait where she always had that way of just bringing out the best out of people. And that's something that you've always had. And I appreciate that about you the most, I think.
It's inside you. I just help you see it. But that's all you, Lucius.
I have a lot of work I have to do. You'll excuse me for a moment.
And as bedraggled and shit-kicked as he is, he puts his hat back on, looks at his shovel. Not going to need that in here. And abs in the breeze. Tooth is still in his belt. He steps back into that dark, horrible mausoleum and starts lining bodies up. Tomorrow, they have to be ready to be buried.
Yeah, Alice doesn't want to touch bodies.
Nope.
So
That doesn't surprise me at all. Give me a this is kind of an anti-scrutinized check. This is Alice being uncomfortable and not wanting to watch that.
Yeah.
And so she's looking anywhere else. Give me a scrutinize.
Where's the button for the thing? There it is. It's a 7.
7. Your eyes kind of pass over it 3 or 4 times. And then they keep coming back because something's not tracking. You look up the valley where the fire, where the train came from, and the big triangle of burnt tissue or tissue? No,
Tissue.
It is not a Charmin factory. That's been
I don't know.
burned
There
down.
might have been a box of Kleenexes on the train. We don't know.
Whew, I don't know why I was thinking of Kleenex after that last scene. The trees all the way up are burnt, and at the very top and the very center, you guys have been there. It's the mine is there.
Mm-hmm.
And if you remember, the first time you were there, it was just sort of a fissure in the rock. Second time, it was 4 feet by 4 feet with a frame. Third time, it was 12 feet by 12 feet, and a bloody train came out of it.
Mm-hmm.
There's smoke coming out of that tunnel. Not a lot, but there's just a little wisp. And it's that white smoke that you recognize. It's going.
Shit. What is Ellie doing? Is she helping Lucius?
Nope, I don't really want to touch bodies either.
That's okay. At this point, I don't think I would allow you, just because
he needs to feel
this is
useful
like-
right now, right? So
Yeah.
he's doing what makes him feel useful.
I'm a shoulder to cry on, not a body holder. But I'm standing outside just waiting for him patiently.
Okay. Give me. You also give me a scrutinized check. I got something else I want to see if anybody sees.
All right. Well, take that, Kevin.
Yeah, you kind of look around just to
There's
clear
some
your,
dirt.
to sort of clear your mind of everything, and you see Miss Alice staring up the hill, and you kind of look, and it doesn't think, whatever, it's clouds. All you can think of in your head is Ellie, Lily. Wait, Jett can heal people when you cut. So Ellie, Lily, Jett can heal himself. What about Charlie? Miss Alice is a hell of a shot. What about Baptiste? How are you a priest and a gunfighter all at the same time? None of this makes any sense.
Right?
And Dan.
And Dan, yeah, Two-Faced Dan, and
The doctor's dead, but not
the
dead.
doctor's dead.
I've had so many
but gone,
bombshells dropped on me.
and
Like
you had a train on you twice. On top of the bombshells, you've also had 2 trains.
Yep.
So that's kind of the state where you guys are.
Yeah.
Lucius, you're inside doing your thing. Yep.
I'm gonna kind of walk over to Ellie, like not taking my eye off of the mine, like and then when I get over there, I'm gonna be like, so there is smoke coming out, that white smoke coming out of that mine.
That's the mine where the train came from, right?
The head of the
Mm-hmm.
valley.
Where
So you look up
Jett
in that
died,
direction
didn't
again.
I?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Who would be going back there now?
These people are freaking crazy. That's what I'm trying to say.
That's what everybody's been saying in this whole town.
And I'll kind of yell into Lucius and be like, Lucius, that mine is smoking on the hill.
As you turn to look out the door to see them out in the graveyard and you're still inside the mausoleum, you see, because they've got their backs to it, a flash of red light from paradise. And a couple seconds later, you all hear as a huge explosion echoes through the valley, off the trees, off the hills. You look, huge tower of first red smoke, red because of the fire that's inside it. And then a few seconds later, it's all covered in white steam. And you were just in paradise, and you kind of start doing the math. That tower of steam and fire's got to be almost 2 blocks across. And there's just this huge mushroom cloud of red and white smoke, fire, and steam rising from paradise, and this endlessly echoing that lets you know that something is still going on there. It wasn't one explosion, it's a whole series.
I'm gonna grab my pistol and I think I'm gonna start running back towards there.
Miss Alice?
Yeah, I'll grab my rifle and start going that way and kind of looking at Lucius like, I know you got a job to do, but what?
Yeah, Lucius. The bodies.
Respectful bow to the bodies. Like,
Explosion.
I'm respectful bow to the bodies, and I'm sorry, I'll be back. And I take my shovel and start running towards this.
Step outside, slam that big metal door, grab your shovel, and start to run towards town. The three of you tear ass into the city, the town. And let me fix the map before I put you on it.
No, I don't want to see.
I'm so worried who might be
I don't want to
dead.
see the map.
No.
Oh my god.
What if we hadn't left? Oh my god.
Oh.
Damn it. That's one item at a time.
I'm so scared as to who might have died.
The suspense is killing me.
No, that'll work. Okay. You guys come running. It's a half mile. You're exhausted by the time you get there. You've got stitches in your side. Miss Alice, one of your heels is coming loose. But you're just like skirt up, just running. And you guys come out of the trees. I've got you in the middle of town right now, but you come out of the trees where this arrow is, down at the south, where the cemetery is. And ahead of you, that big white area is a pillar of steam and smoke and fire.
That's where the sheriff's office is, ain't it?
The sheriff's office is number 4. No, wait a
okay.
minute. Hang on. Let me get this right. What is underneath there? Number 5 is Merritt's Mercantile. That was the store. It's slightly damaged. But what's really under there is the stables.
The doctor's office.
Doctor's office. To be more accurate, about half the doctor's office. And the livery, where your horses were.
Yeah, as soon
Is
as
right on the brink. Is just outside. You can see those barns. Sorry, I just looked at my own map.
as soon as Alice realizes that that's right at the edge of where Fancy is, no other thought. She's going straight to that livery.
The other two
I'm gonna start.
come out of the trees. Miss Alice she was a little slower than you, but she didn't stop. She was running right past you. Just...
My horse is probably left at the graveyard with the cart, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, if you ran back here with these guys, then yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna start heading towards where the explosion is to see if there's any people that need help.
I will do the same.
Okay. So you guys split, and the two of you are rushing towards the cloud. Miss Alice rushing towards the stables. And that is where we'll stop tonight.
No, Gavin,
Are you?
Oh yeah, I can't give that's are you kidding me? You should know be mine. Now this was a huge cliffhanger. This was obvious what I was gonna do like 5 minutes ago. It was obvious what I was gonna do.
But I have so much tinkering to do.
I also have tinkering to do.
I was
It's always rough when you got tinkering to do and instead the town explodes. Been there. Anyways, congrats to our giveaway winner tonight. Glad to see you enjoy that little dice chest there. And everybody be sure to tune in on Thursday for another giveaway. We got more stuff to give away because we get so much love from you guys, all these daggone followers. I don't know. All right, Gavin, take us away.
Oh, thank you again to my my trio of players and storytellers this week. Thank you to everybody that watched, to all the people that followed during it. We heard the happy noise. We apparently hit yet another milestone tonight. So it has been a truly spectacular 27 hours to be alive. But tonight was amazing. You guys, again, as always, so patient when I was doing terrible things to other people. My storytellers, let's do this in the reverse order that we did it before. Sarah, Miss Alice, thank you so much. And welcome to 3D animation as a player.
Man. Also, as Ryan would say, you're still my friend, but I'm so pissed off at you right now.
Straight in the heart where I love it. Oh, thank you. That is like the ultimate compliment. You're still my friend, but right now I hate you. Thank you so much. Speaking of people who might feel the same way, way down at the end with the big hat, and oh man, you have been stitching your clothes together for years, and now you are finally going to have to go to the damn store and buy a new tuxedo. At least you got a job.
I had 2 pairs before I came.
Lucius. Oh, Lesson Max. Thank you so much. You were half of a spectacular scene tonight. I hope you remember to take that blue chip that I told you to take. Those are for role play. And yeah, take a blue chip for now. I'm going to have a surprise for you next week. Both of you, because you and Hannah, Ellie and Lucius, that was magnificent. That is what happens when you don't roll dice. That is what happens when you tell stories. And we got a whole bunch of backstory, and it came out very believably and understandably, and it was wonderful. And we've got this new bond, and I'm going on and on and on and on and on because yay. So surprises for both of you next week.
It was so nice. Joe Betta always does stuff like that. It was so nice to just sit back and watch one of those scenes like play out.
Isn't that just like to be able to just do this?
Yeah.
Just watch. Oh,
so nice.
Anyway, with that, thank you for everybody that watched. Thank you to our producer, who has also had a mind-numbingly amazing last 27 hours. Thank you to the Mad Maker for doing all his hard work, as always.
It's been wild.
And with that, I will almost certainly shoot you all next week. Thank you. Good night.
Stay tuned for the raid.
Have you hugged an owl bear today? Has an owl bear hugged you? Have you felt its beak and its fur-feathered arms rip your body in two? Have you felt its beak and its fur-feathered